With the U.S. focused on Russia's war in Ukraine, another adversary is dramatically escalating tensions with the Biden administration and the world. We're talking now about North Korea. The authoritarian and repressive state launched an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time since 2017. And joining us now for more on what this all means is ABC News contributor and former commander of U.S. Forces Korea, General Robert Abrams. General, thank you so much for your time. First off, why should Americans care about this development?
Lindsay, good evening. Thanks for having me. Americans should care about this for a couple of reasons. First, as you mentioned, this is the first intercontinental ballistic missile test by North Korea since 2017. And one of the primary reasons why it's been that long is North Korea had a self-declared moratorium on any more ICBM tests as a confidence builder and a means of relieving tension between North Korea and the United States and the Republic of Korea alliance. So this test today basically breaks that moratorium and signals to the world that KJU not only is he willing to test ICBMs, but he's also willing probably now to test nuclear weapons. Secondly, this ICBM that was tested today is by far the longest range intercontinental ballistic missile that North Korea has tested. And based on the numbers I've seen earlier today of the telemetry data, it appears that this ICBM can range all of the continental United States, so all 50 states and territories.
And why do you think that this is happening now?
Well, I know there's some people who think that somehow Kim Jong-un is clever enough to do something like this while the United States and the world are distracted by Ukraine. But that's actually not true. Kim Jong-un directed this development back in January of 2020. You'd have to go back and read his address to the plenum, where he directed his scientists and his missile development teams to prepare this newest long-range intercontinental ballistic missile. So he's on his timeline, not on the world's timeline.
So if there's no doubt that the ICBM can reach the U.S., what should the Biden administration do next?
Well, I think there's several things that the administration has to do and the world has to do. First and foremost, there has to be a strong public condemnation at the United Nations and in the UN Security Council. And the U.S. should bring this up immediately. There should be an emergency meeting, actually. This is a serious breach of a moratorium. It's a serious breach to the peace and stability that has existed on the peninsula for the last 3 or 4 years. I think the United States should also consider taking a strong look at increasing the number of sanctions. We've seen, everyone thinks North Korea has been under sanctions and tough sanctions for a long time. The sanctions that North Korea is under today pale in comparison to what the international community has done in very short order to Russia. So we should look very hard at that. And then lastly, the United States, we took our own moratorium on deployment of strategic assets dating back to May of 2018. We've not had a carrier strike group, a fifth-gen fighter, or a strategic bomber operating in Korean waters or airspace since then, so almost 4 years. It's probably time for us to send a clear message, not only to North Korea, but to our allies in the region, of our continued resolve and commitment to the peace and security of Northeast Asia.
General Abrams, we thank you so much for your time.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.